Today starts with the gang of villains as they are carrying out a robbery of the main bank. And after they steal the bank's vault, they quickly go out to get in their car to escape. At that moment, police cars start to chase them, and Weds, who is responsible for the gang's hacking operations, starts hacking the traffic lights and opens them all so they can escape quickly. One of the gang members, named Shark, begins trying to block the police cars. And we find out that Shark is the gang's disguise expert. Then we see the last member of the gang, whose name is Piranha. After that, the gang appears trying to open the vault, and when they manage to open it, they take it to the police station to annoy the police chief, who wants to catch them at any cost. The police chief starts chasing them, but the gang manages to escape from her and go to their hideout, which is in a secret location that no one knows. There, we see a lot of gold and money that the gang brought from all the robberies they did. Then the gang starts celebrating Snake's birthday, who seems to hate birthdays. Wolf sits in front of the TV and discovers that all the news is talking about them and the robbery they committed. Then the mayor, whose name is Diane, appears and talks about them, saying that she feels sorry for them because they're only doing all of this to get people's attention. The gang feels very upset by her words. Diane continues her speech and says that she will award the Golden Dolphin Award to the best citizen in the city. Wolf looks annoyed by her words and starts thinking of a way to get back at her. He suggests to the rest of the gang that they should steal the Golden Dolphin Award. But Snake refuses and tells them that everyone who ever tried to steal that award ended up in prison. And because Wolf knows that Snake loves eating hamsters, he tells them that the one who will receive the award is a hamster named Marmalade. At that moment, Snake agrees, and they all set a date for the operation. When the Golden Dolphin Award ceremony begins, the gang goes to the event in disguise so that no one recognizes them. There, Wolf tells them that they'll need a police access card to get past the first door, and they'll also need Diane's eye scan to get through the second door. Wolf approaches Diane and gets to know her, and they start talking. She tells him about the gang that robbed the bank and says they're very stupid. Diane doesn't know that Wolf is the leader of that gang. She continues talking and tells Wolf that she feels she's very close to catching the gang. Wolf is shocked by how confident she is. Then, he takes a photo with her so he can use it later during the robbery. Let me know if you'd like this in script format or continued. Then Wolf goes to the gang to start executing their plan. Each member goes to the place of the award. Weds manages to hack the system and tells them to move quickly. Wolf bumps into the police chief who can't recognize him. He steals the entry card from her. While walking, Wolf keeps stealing jewelry from all the party guests until he gets to an old lady. When Wolf tries to steal her jewelry, she falls from the stairs. Wolf quickly saves her before she falls and helps her. The old lady thanks him and tells him he is a kind and nice person. Wolf becomes very happy and feels he did something good. Then Wolf and Piranha go and pass through the first door. They knock out the guards and use Diane's picture to extract her eye scan. They manage to get through the door and finally reach the place where the Golden Dolphin Award is. There, Snake meets them, and they all begin the theft operation. But suddenly, an advanced weapons system appears to protect the award, and the gang doesn't know anything about it. Even Weds is seeing this advanced weapon system for the first time and isn't able to disable it. At that moment, the ceremony begins, and the mayor starts to open the curtain covering the award. Webs tries her best to disable the weapons system, and just seconds before the curtain is opened, she succeeds. The rest of the gang manages to steal the award. But before they leave, Wolf hears Marmalade talking about goodness, and he gets influenced. At the same time, Diane recognizes Wolf and the rest of the gang, and the police chief, along with all the police officers in the place, surround them and arrest them. They're taken to the police car. Wolf uses his intelligence to get them out of the situation. He repeats Marmalade's words from the party about goodness and asks for one last chance for him and his gang to become good. And indeed, his plan succeeds. Marmalade tells Diane that they should give them another chance to see if they can transform from the worst gang in the city into good people. He agrees with Diane that he will be responsible for rehabilitating them until the next event. When Wolf returns to the car, the gang is surprised by what he did. Wolf tells them that it's all part of the plan. They will pretend to be good until the next event, and then they will steal the golden dolphin and escape. The gang members like the plan and all agree on it. Then the gang goes to Marmalade's mansion to start training with him. The first thing Marmalade tries to teach them is sharing. But Snake can't be good and eats the ice cream alone. Then Marmalade tries another method. He takes them to rescue a cat from a tree, but they do the opposite and scare it. Then Marmalade asks them what skill they're good at, to assign them a suitable mission. The gang tells him they're good at scams and theft. So Marmalade decides to have them steal from a company to free the hamsters used in experiments. He tells them this will make them heroes and improves their public image. The gang starts the mission to steal from the company. Marmalade gives them the directions to the hamsters. He also asks the reporters to focus on the door to capture the gang doing good. But suddenly, the gang comes out of the door looking like they're eating the hamsters, not rescuing them. The news spreads in the newspapers and all over the city. Diane gets very upset and tells Marmalade she's ending the experiment and will send them to jail. Wolf quickly talks to Diane and convinces her to change her mind. She tells him she'll give them another chance. Later, we see Wolf rescuing a cat stuck in a tree. It's clear that his behavior is starting to genuinely change. Suddenly, Marmalade appears from a hiding spot, filming Wolf saving the cat. He tells Wolf that people loved the video and continues saying Wolf is starting to become a good person. He advises him to stay away from his friends. Snake overhears this conversation. When Snake goes back to the room, he talks to Wolf and asks if this is still part of the plan. Wolf tells him he made the plan from the beginning and is the most committed to it. If the plan changes, he will let them know. Later, the time for the party arrives, and the gang starts planning the theft while they are in the car. The plan is that Snake will get the code to open the award box, which is in a case tied to the police chief's hand. Shark will have the fake dolphin. Piranha is responsible for placing a device that will disrupt the power lines, allowing webs to control the whole system. Meanwhile, the gang will go on stage and say a speech, and at that time, Wolf will turn off the lights. Snake will enter the code, steal the real dolphin, replace it with the fake one Shark has, and then they will leave the party and leave their logo on the screen. The gang is excited about Wolf's plan. When they arrive at the party, they are surprised by how the people welcome them. It turns out that the people love them. The gang enters the party to start the mission. Snake goes to get the code as agreed, but suddenly, the chief accidentally steps on his tail without realizing it, and grabs him instead of the glass next to her. Piranha is forced to go on stage and sing to distract her from Snake. The whole gang ends up on stage helping him, and they manage to distract her enough so that Snake can open the case and get the code. Surprisingly, their performance makes the people interact with them and donate a lot of money to the charity. Meanwhile, Webb succeeds in taking control of the electricity network. It's time for the plan's execution. Wolf appears on stage and tells the people that the party has collected the largest amount of donations ever. At that moment, Wolf changes his mind and decides not to turn off the lights. He hands over the real golden dolphin to Marmalade, against what he agreed with his gang. But suddenly, the lights go out, and the meteor that symbolizes goodness in their city disappears. Everyone starts suspecting Wolf and the gang. They say they must be the ones who stole the meteor. Suddenly, the gang appears on the screen, and everyone is sure they are behind the theft. The police at the event begin chasing the gang to catch them. Wolf goes to Diane and gives her a note, telling her he will set things right. Piranha tries to help the gang escape, But his hook hits Shark and knocks him out. The police come and arrest them. They are imprisoned. Then Marmalade enters their vehicle. When he speaks, Wolf realizes he has heard this voice before and remembers it's the same voice as the old lady he helped at the party. Wolf realizes everything that happened was Marmalade's plan all along, that he used them while everyone was focused on them during the event to steal the meteor himself. And at that moment, Marmalade reveals his true form, and it turns out that he is actually an evil person. He tells them that he stole the meteorite because it's a massive energy source, and that he's going to use its power to carry out the greatest operation in the world. Wolf gets angry and starts attacking him, but Marmalade quickly seizes the opportunity and opens the door to show everyone that Wolf and his gang haven't changed and never will. However, Diane feels that something is wrong and doesn't believe Marmalade's words. She then goes to read Wolf's message, in which he had included the location of their secret hideout. And when Diane goes there, she finds all the gold and money they had stolen before. Meanwhile, the gang of villains arrives at the prison. And Snake is very upset with Wolf because he ruined their heist and got them imprisoned. And he says that he heard Marmalade telling him to stay away from him. But he never imagined he'd actually do that and betray them in the mission. So Wolf defends himself and says that he didn't do that and that he wanted them to become better people. But Snake doesn't believe him, and they both start fighting. Suddenly, a masked person appears from outside the prison and starts attacking all the guards and locks them up in a cell, and goes to Wolf and his friends to break them out of prison. And we discover then that the masked person is Diane, and we find out that she's the dangerous criminal who stole the prize a long time ago and disappeared for a long time and quit stealing. And Diane manages to break them out of prison and tells them that she saved them because she felt something was wrong. And she found out that the meteorite that was stolen is a huge energy source. And when they all reach the city, Diane asks for their help so they can stalk him, and Wolf replies that they will help her. But Snake responds by saying that the gang is over, and they won't work together again. And the rest of the team agrees with him. So they leave her and walk away. Meanwhile, we see Marmalade activating his device using the meteorite's energy. And we find out that the purpose of this device is to control the minds of hamsters. And indeed, Marmalade succeeds in controlling all the hamsters in the city and gathers a huge army of them. We go back to Wolf, who is talking with Diane and feeling very sad because he lost his friends. Diane, using her device, discovers that all the hamsters are gathered in the city. And at that moment, they realize that Marmalade is controlling their minds to steal the donation money. And that this is considered the greatest heist in history, as its value reaches $1 billion. So Wolf and Diane decide to stop him and steal the meteorite from him. And at that time, the rest of the gang arrives at their hideout, and they're shocked to find that everything they had stolen has been stolen from them. Snake gets really angry, and then Shark goes to him and gives him his ice cream to calm him down, which surprises the others because it's the first time Shark has ever done something nice. That's when Webbs tells them that Wolf was right and that they actually can change. But Snake disagrees with her and insists on his opinion, saying that he will never be a good person. Then he leaves them and walks away. Then we move to Marmalade, after he managed to take control of all the donation cars and steal them. Wolf and Diane arrive at Marmalade's headquarters, and when they get out, Wolf sees the Golden Dolphin Award and goes to take it. But suddenly, it turns out to be a trap set by Marmalade. Marmalade manages to catch both of them, and also discovers that Diane is the Invisible Man. He takes from her a precious jewel she had stolen a long time ago. Wolf gets angry when he finds out that Snake is the one who told Marmalade about their plan to steal the donations. And before Marmalade leaves, he orders his assistant to kill them. But at that moment, the gang arrives at the last second and saves them. Then they all go together to steal the meteorite, and they actually manage to do that and escape quickly. Marmalade is still controlling the hamsters. At that time, the gang decides to take control of the cars. They start placing devices on all the cars, and Webbs, with those devices, manages to control all the cars and stop them, and redirect them back to the places where the money was supposed to go. Then the gang decides to go to the police station to hand over the meteorite, but they change their minds and decide first to rescue Snake so he can be with them during the handover. When they all go to get him back, Marmalade appears and orders the hamster army to attack them. He starts threatening them, saying that if they don't return the meteorite, he will kill Snake. So Wolf makes a deal with Marmalade. He tells him to let Snake go first, and then they will hand over the meteorite. But Marmalade gets angry and throws Snake out of the plane. Wolf sacrifices the meteorite to save his friend. He runs quickly, jumps off the bridge, and they all fall into the middle. The car explodes, destroying Marmalade's device as well, causing him to lose control of the entire hamster army. When the gang returns to the bridge, they decide to turn themselves in and not run away. When the reporters saw the meteorite with Marmalade, they thought he was the one who brought it back. So he took advantage of the situation and told them that he was the one who captured the gang and successfully recovered the meteorite. He then suggested that they take it to his headquarters for safekeeping. But suddenly, it turned out that the meteorite was fake. When Snake went to cooperate with Marmalade, he was actually planning to help Wolf from the very beginning. He took Marmalade's hamster control device to test it, and made the hamster switch the real meteorite with a fake one. At that moment, the real meteorite that Snake had hidden from Marmalade fell, and the precious jewel that Marmalade had stolen from Diane fell as well. The police chief picked it up and realized it was the famous jewel that had been stolen a long time ago. That's when she understood that Marmalade was the dangerous criminal who had stolen it before, so she arrested him. After Wolf's gang finished their prison sentence, Diane came to pick them up in her car, and together they started a new chapter in their lives.